I was told that healing would feel like a breakthrough. Like one morning, I'd wake up and the weight I had been carrying would just be gone. Like something inside me would finally click into place and I'd feel light again. Nobody told me it would feel like this confusing, non linear, and sometimes lonelier than the pain that started it all. If you have ever been on a healing journey and you keep thinking, why isn't this working? Or am I doing this wrong? This video is for you. Because today we are talking about the things no one tells you about healing. The raw, honest, unglamorous parts that don't make it onto motivational posters. Stay with me because by the end of this, I think you're going to feel a lot less alone. Welcome to this space for anyone who's in the middle of something hard and trying to find their way through it. If it's your first time here, I'm glad you found this channel. And if you have ever been here before, thank you for coming back. Let's get into it. The first thing nobody tells you about healing that it does not go in a straight line. We have this picture in our heads that healing is a journey with clear beginning, middle, and end. Every day will be little better than the last. That progress means moving forward always. But the truth is that's not how it works. Some days you'll feel genuinely okay, lighter, hopeful, like you have turned a corner. And then something small happens, a song comes, you smell something familiar, maybe a fragrance, you pass by a cafe, someone says a word that takes you back, or you hear a name, and suddenly you're right back in the middle of it. The same feeling, chest tight, eyes burning, wondering if you have made any progress at all. Here's what I want you to hear. Going backwards is not the same as failing. Healing is more like a spiral than a straight line. You revisit the same feelings, the same memories, the same wounds, but each time you come to them with a little more understanding, a little more capacity to hold them. The hard days you are having, it's not proof that you're broken, it's proof that you're human, and it's part of the process, even when it doesn't feel like it. The second thing, you might get worse before you get better. This one surprises a lot of people. When you start doing the real work of healing, therapy, journaling, sitting with your emotions, setting boundaries, living with your hobbies, things that can actually feel harder at first, more raw, more overwhelming. Sometimes, even the things that you used to enjoy the most, you may not be able to do it even for a minute. Maybe your most favorite hobby. And that's terrifying because you came to healing to feel better, not worse. But think of it this way. Imagine you broke your arm and never got it set properly. You learned to live with it, compensating, adjusting, protecting it. It doesn't hurt as much anymore, but it's not healed. It's just adapted. Now imagine going to get it properly treated. The doctor has to re-break it to set it right, and for a while, it's more painful than before, isn't it? That's what emotional healing can feel like. When you start pulling back the layers, the coping mechanisms, the emotional walls, the stories you told yourself to survive, it hurts because you're finally feeling that you learned to not feel. That discomfort isn't a sign you're getting worse, it's a sign that healing has actually begun. The next thing is about healing is that healing changes your relationships. Nobody warns you about this one, and I think it catches people completely off guard. When you start healing, you start changing. And when you change, the dynamics around you shift, sometimes in beautiful ways and sometimes in ways that are deeply painful. You might start setting boundaries with people who were used to you having none. You might stop tolerating things you used to silently accept. You might find that some friendships feel hollow now, that you have outgrown conversations that used to feel comfortable. And some people in your life won't like that. They liked who you were before, not because that version of you was better, but because that version of you was easier, more convenient, more available, the one that would never say no. And this would bring a lot of drops in your relationship. Your friend circle starts getting smaller, and the moment you say no to something, the people distance themselves. Losing relationships or watching them change while you're already in pain is one of the hardest parts of it. It can make you question whether the growth is worth it. Of course, it is, my dear friend, but it's okay to grieve the old versions of your relationships while you do it. The people who are meant to be in your life will meet the version of you that's healing. They'll make room for you, who you are becoming. And the people that are going far at this phase of your life are never meant to be a part of your journey. The next thing you'll notice is that you'll have to grieve things you never got. A lot of healing isn't about grieving what you lost, it's about grieving what you never had. The childhood you deserved but didn't get. The parent who should have made you feel safe but didn't. The love that you should have been unconditional but came with conditions. The version of your life that could have been if things had gone differently. This kind of grief is tricky because there's no clear event to point to, no before and after moment. It's the grief of an absence of a hunger for something you can't even fully name. And because it doesn't look like normal grief, it's easy to dismiss, to tell yourself, other people had it worse. I shouldn't feel this way. I'm being dramatic. But the absence of what you needed is a real loss, and it deserves to be grieved just as much as anything else. Give yourself permission to mourn what you should have been. It's not self pity, it's part of how you make peace with your story. Next thing that is to be understood is that healing is not about forgetting. Somewhere along the way, a lot of us picked up the idea that healing means painful memories stop hurting, that you'll reach a point where you can think about what happened and feel nothing. Or, what in my experience, what I thought is, I will never remember those moments again. Only after years of going through it, trying to survive, trying to heal, now that I notice it's not about forgetting it. That's not healing. Real healing doesn't erase what happened, it changes your relationship to what happened. The memory is still there, the story is still part of you, but it stops being the thing that defines you. It stops being the wound you're always guarding. It becomes something you carry. Yes, but no longer something that carries you. You'll know you are healing not because the past stops mattering, but because it stops running your present. You'll be able to think about it without being swallowed by it. You'll be able to talk about it without falling apart. Or you'll fall apart and you'll come back together. Healing doesn't mean that past disappears. It means it no longer has the same power over you. The next thing is that you have to be an active participant. Here's something that's uncomfortable but important. Healing doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. You can read every book, listen every podcast, understand your wounds intellectually, know every therapy framework by name, and still not heal because understanding isn't the same as doing the work. The work looks different for everyone. Maybe it's therapy, maybe it's learning to sit with discomfort instead of numbing it, maybe it's practice the boundary you've been avoiding, maybe it's letting yourself cry instead of pushing it down. Healing requires your participation. It asks you to show up for yourself repeatedly, imperfectly, even when you don't feel like it. That can feel unfair, right? Especially if what hurt you wasn't your fault. And you're right, it wasn't. But the healing, the part is yours. Nobody can do it for you. The good news is you don't have to do it all at once. You just have to keep showing up. Small acts of self honesty, repeated over time, are what changes us. So, things nobody tells you about healing. It's not linear. It might feel harder before it feels easier. It will change your relationships. It will ask you to grieve things you never had. It won't erase the past. It will just loosen the past's grip on you. And it requires you to show up for yourself again and again. None of that is easy, but none of it means you're doing it wrong. If you're somewhere in the middle of your healing right now, in the messy, uncertain, sometimes painful in between, I want you to know something. The fact that you're here, searching for understanding, trying to make sense of what you feel, that is the work. You're already doing it. Ache to Bloom isn't a destination, it's a direction, it's a journey, and you are already moving. If this video resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need it. Leave a comment below telling me where you are in your healing journey. I read every single one. Subscribe if you want more honest conversations like this, and I'll see you in the next one.